And we're back here on another Tuesday night under the lights here on Couch Coach Live. What's going on, fellas?
Ain't much what's going on with you, fellas.
What's up, fellas? How y'all doing, man?
Same, just working. Ain't doing nothing. Same old.
Same stuff, different day.
Yo.
How about you, X?
Oh man, just working and cooling. Working and cooling.
Right. Yeah, I feel you. Same here, bro.
Yeah, so got a great show lined up for you tonight. First, we got to talk about the NBA Finals. Obviously, we had a game last night where the San Antonio Spurs get the 115-111 win in Game 3 of the NBA Finals. So, fellas, from that game last night, what are your two takeaways from last night's game? I'm going to go with you first, X. What you got?
My first of the two takeaways that I have is Wemby's adjustments and his two-way impact. I looked at the difference, how he played, especially in game 2 with that costly turnover and that careless foul on Jalen Brunson. In game 3, he looked locked in, focused. So I took it like he applied, not just him, but the team, that they applied the lessons from the first 2 losses. They improved on attacking the paint. They protected the rim, and their decision making was a lot better. They cut back on. I'm not gonna say a lot, but they cut back on some of the careless turnovers that they were making in the first 2 games and in the previous series against OKC. Also, Wemby posted a stat line. He is one of the youngest players to ever post in the NBA Finals. 30 plus points, 5 plus rebounds, 5 plus assists. And plus the Spurs defense pretty much held the Knicks stars in check, especially in those key moments down the stretch in the fourth quarter. My second takeaway from the game is just the Spurs' resiliency and depth and execution. We saw a lot throughout the game. They used like a 3-guard lineup with Fox, Castle, and Harper. I kind of like that because of the defensive prowess of Castle. He's up into Jalen Brunson, picking him up in half court, being aggressive, bumping him, kind of just keeping him off balance for a little bit. And then I felt like, although Brunson hasn't had a great shooting series in this finals, I just felt like, although Brunson had 30 points, 30 was it
31, 32?
32.
But it's taken him like 20 plus shots to get to 30. So the efficiency, I mean, I understand it's the finals and like SGA last year in the finals, efficiency goes out the window when it's the NBA finals, but it kind of hurts the team. And interrupts the flow of the offense because it felt like at times Brunson was hunting his own shot instead of getting others involved.
Yep.
And you saw other guys that really couldn't find a rhythm. I mean, OG had a good game, but you had guys like Cat had a so-so game. Bridges, although foul trouble, he never really caught rhythm. I think he scored 2 points.
Yeah, two. He only had two.
Yeah, so like I
Mm-hmm.
said, it's just that Spurs defense has stepped up big, especially in Game 3 in that hostile environment of MSG in front of all those fans, celebs, even POTUS himself when he was awake. Um, yeah, those are my two takeaways from the game.
What you got, Mal? Your two takeaways.
Both takeaways is about the same as what X is saying. I felt like I will say this. I'll go with the Spurs. I would say they set the tone early. Um, One of the main things I kept saying is the most intimidating thing is that you get this big boy named Wemby, and he's if he's in the paint, he's the biggest person on the court, and he should lock it down. He should be taking over, and I felt like he did. Like he got 8 points in the paint. I think like it was a couple alley oops early in the game, and so I felt that kind of aggressive. It just seemed like those two was the 1 or 2 punch, and then everybody else, even like was it Harper 13 points off the bench. Um, well, I think he was at 7 rebounds, and I think he was. I don't know. He might have been 2 for 2 from the free throw line, maybe. But coming off the bench, that's great. I think also the mental status that I think they put on them, like being sneaky, physical, I guess you could say, um, played into the Knicks also with like getting Bridges, Bridges getting those 2 early fouls, and then like really kind of like I mean, Carl Anthony Towns is supposed to be the point forward. That's their honestly, that's been their adjustment since when they in this whole playoffs. It's because he was the point forward. He got 1 assist. You know what I mean? My second takeaway is I feel like there's an extreme pressure on the Knicks that it's not on the Spurs, and I wanted to see, and I think it is what it is. Like we've always talked about this, coach, where to be the man, you gotta walk that out. Like you play for the Knicks, and it comes with a lot. You know what I mean? And you got to be, even though you play in the Garden every night. This was something major. I think this was the first finals game in how long, coach?
1999.
Right. And it's a lot of pressure. It was a lot of people there. And I'm not even just saying the president. I'm just saying it was a lot of pressure. It was so much. Think about how much pressure be that they said that the crime is down in New York City. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's extremely so much. And you see all that crowd and everything on you, it takes a lot. You got to be really, really mentally ready. And I believe Pop and their coach kind of told them, I'll take one game at a time because all the pressure is on them. You know what I mean? So that's my second takeaway of how they dealt with the pressure. And it goes with my first one is like you got Bridges out, 2 fouls. Even though Clarkson stepped up, gave him 10 points. Like you said, OG stepped up. Even Hart, he didn't have a really good series. He knocked down some shots, kept him, but going back what X said, I said that also is that contain Brunson. It's 2 ways. He the point guard, but he's really a 2. So if he ain't scoring, you know what I mean? I don't think he knows how to get everybody involved. So like I was saying, X, they contained he was the adjustment. You know what I mean? He was the point forward. So that's my 2 takeaways.
In this one, obviously, like, you guys echo the sentiment, but it's more so in the sense of yes, Wemby was way more aggressive in this game compared to games
Mm-hmm.
1 and 2. And it's funny, I remember during halftime, I think it was either game, I think it had to be game was Friday, game 2, where Chuck and Shaq was kind of arguing about like as far as the effort. And Chuck was like, I don't think it's an effort. It's just I think he's just shell shocked. Like the moment, in a sense, kind of got big, got too big for him. But now you're looking at a situation in game 3 where he definitely seen where
Mm-hmm.
he actually rose to the occasion. So you see like just how he was aggressive. And just the whole team was aggressive. I mean, obviously that foul on Jalen Brunson, Luke Cornett, that push on Josh
Mm-hmm.
Hart, and then also you look at the Castle hit on Jalen Brunson where he was, had to, fell to the ground with the back injury. So you just look at that they were way more aggressive in this game, and also too their poise. I really thought it was funny because I thought it was gonna be like a deja vu type of moment. This is when it was like 7 minutes ago in the fourth quarter where the Spurs up 100-93. Wemby gets the potential 4-point play, then it gets appealed, and so that it's 7-point lead. Then Jalen Brunson gets a layup, and it's now a 5-point lead. And you see kind of the momentum swing where it could have been essentially an 11-point lead. Is really now a 5-point lead. So I definitely thought that but I would give the Spurs credit. They weathered the storm. Every time like the Knicks kind of was making runs in that final 7 minutes, they countered. Like if you look at this, from a play-by-play perspective, you seen the Knicks getting there. They get edging closer. They get, down by 4. You see San Antonio coming back. You see San Antonio keeping their lead, and they're just keeping on. So to me, that spoke volumes. Like in that type of game where you looked at those final kind of well, not the final, but the first 2 games where it's kind of eerily similar in the sense where you looked at kind of like we talked about the bonehead play on Friday night, the turnover that it pretty much led for the Knicks to that 1-point lead to make it up 2-0 in the series. So they, to me, just their toughness, the grit, and just them being able to weather the storm, especially in the most hostile environment that we've probably seen in 27 years since the Knicks beat the Spurs in Game 3 of the 1999 NBA Finals. So kudos to them, and which now alludes to my next point. With that win, fellas, what do you guys think of the percentage of potentially this Spurs team coming back and potentially win this series and win the championship? What do you guys percentage as far as what thinking that they can reclaim this lead in the NBA Finals and potentially win the finals? I'm gonna go to you first, X. What you got?
I'll give them about 35%. Although they won last night, and the Knicks still somewhat struggled, yet they only beat them by 4. I expect New York to come out in Game 4 to be the aggressors to start out fast and strong. So I'm still only giving San Antonio, like I said, 35% because I feel like New York now is going to look at Game 4 as a must-win. Although they're up 2-1, they're going to look at this game right here as a must-win. You don't want to go back to San Antonio tied 2-2. You have, as of now, you still have home court advantage if you're the Knicks, so you need to go into Game 4, get it started early, get Cat involved early, get Mikal Bridges involved early, get everybody involved early, and then Brunson, you do what you did in games 1 and 2. You close out the show in the fourth quarter. Plain and simple.
All right, X. Mal, what's your percentage of the Spurs winning the series after this Game 3 win?
I was gonna give it 40. I'm going 60%. I just feel like I think they might. I think that was the game. I think that was the game that they probably should have won. And I think this is when the dam is cracked, and it's cracked wells. I I really believe that this might be it. This might be it. And like I said, I just feel like Spurs don't have as much pressure as the Knicks do. You know what I mean? I feel like there's a lot. Everything is like the Spurs to me is overachieving. You know what I mean? They really are. You know what I mean? They're overachieving. Then you look at the other team and you just be like, it's a lot of things that people say. Cat not playing at his level he should. Brunson again, shooting too much, and I can go have them winning fives. And coach, you said six, right? You
Yeah,
had the
6.
Spurs in six, right?
Yep.
So I really feel like I I just I I think that anxiety is there, X. You know what I mean? I think that anxiety is there, and I really believe that game that they just lost, that they should really most likely, if you look at the stats, besides the free throw line, they should have won. Truth be told, they really should have won if you look at the stats. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think the dam is cracked and it's about to 60%.
Yeah. Yeah, and I got kind of bad tears. I think today is a 25% chance that they could win this series. But if they
Mm-hmm.
win tomorrow night, it's 50-50. Because
Mm-hmm.
the thing is, like you said, game 3 probably will be the toughest game that the Spurs will have ever played. Ever. I mean, as far as at this point, I mean, even though you had a game 7 in OKC, you won at OKC in game 7.
Right.
But a game like that, and like we talked about, that's the first game that the Knicks had a home NBA Finals game since 1999, and that atmosphere was crazy. Like, just imagine like how and it's funny because I knew it was kind of one situation. If the Spurs can win this game, they got a good shot of potentially getting back into the series because just the fact of the atmosphere that it presented itself, and now it may not be at like tomorrow night still going to be electric, but it's not going to be at how it was last night. And I think that's another thing too, where hey, if you could weather the storm in this game, and then you're in the driver's seat. If you win tomorrow night, and then you go to San Antonio Saturday and play, you might come back to New York next Tuesday, a week from tonight, and could have a 3-2 lead and potentially close it out in the Garden. I mean, it's literally like that because I mean, I think that game 5 Saturday, regardless of what happens, even if the Knicks was to win tomorrow night, I can see the Spurs blowing them out Saturday, and that game 6 is going to be like the deciding game for the Knicks if they close it out, if they win tomorrow night. Because I definitely think whatever happens tomorrow night, Saturday, the Spurs are going to win. Like, so to me, it's one of those things where if I'm the Knicks, you want to take care of business, at least going to San Antonio, potentially trying to close it out in San Antonio versus going, being tired, leaving tomorrow night. Like, so I definitely think it's tears too. If they win tomorrow night, it's 50-50. But yeah.
I'm sorry, coach. Like I say, it's like, go ahead, man.
Oh no, I'm done.
Another thing is, like, I think they really been. I mean, Knick fans are Knick fans, right? But I believe they got a little overly arrogant, and this first loss, they have not lost in a long time. It's almost like 30% of the Knicks fans is already like it's over with. You know what I mean? Like, and that's why I was like, that's what I was at 40. And once I started seeing that, I was like, oh man, y'all, they can't see y'all faces like that. Like, what I mean? They got to see y'all motivated and say, man, we still got a chance, man. You know what I mean? They already look like they heartbroken, like they've already done. You know what I mean? That's just my take on that.
And that's just being a fanatic, and where you go through those wave of emotions, like it's like everything, because in their subconscious, man, it's like all of us. I think if we have a team that's long suffering like them,
right,
you always feel as though like it's the end of the world. like they look at it from the standpoint they think it's gonna be Knicks at 4, but I know in their heart of hearts they know that this is a series. This isn't something that's gonna be a clean sweep. So of course, having a game like that is like demoralizing. That's the thing. That's a good thing that there are fans and they're not actually on this team. Because if you had that type of attitude, then they're gonna lose the series. But luckily, you have a team that I think is tough enough to weather the storm, and they have proven that they could still win 2 more games and win a championship. But they're just so close. It's almost I don't. How can I explain it? It's almost like if like I would say like if you're like getting ready to graduate like college or like high school or something, and you're like a few weeks away, and then you may be on the fringe of a class or something, and you're like, I don't know if I'm gonna pass or not, but you know you're gonna pass the class. It's the anxiety. It's just because they've been disappointed so much. So it's like here they're just like, oh gosh, it's the end of the world. But hold on tight. I still think y'all got a shot. It ain't
got
over.
rap songs. It's great.
Yeah.
I love every minute of this X. I just want you to know that. I'm being nice because I feel good today. It's great.
It's so much fun. Like seeing people like at Central, like they had a watch party at Central Park. Like that's so crazy. They had they showed a spot like in Williamsburg, New York. I was like, man, it's just that's cool. That's like the coolest thing. I'm excited for them.
Right, it really is. Like I delivered to a lot of people. I deliver. It's so cool that you have somebody in their 60s and somebody in their 50s or 40s or 30, whatever, and they're calling family members and like talking about it. Like people that probably don't even watch the NBA that's from New York or from the area or a Knicks fan is paying attention to it. You know what I mean? And I feel all that. I told somebody, if you're not a fan, you would want to watch because we've never seen anything like this in our life. I mean, in our you know what I'm saying, since we've been alive. Like it's different than really the electricity is way different than watching the Bulls or the Lakers. You know what I mean? It felt different, bro. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it really, really did.
Yeah, but I'm gonna give them this one time because if they like after next year, it's gonna get annoying. This a nice story now, but come next year, I don't want this to happen again.
I get you.
Because you know they're gonna get even obnoxious. Like it's cool, and I get it because y'all haven't won them since 1973. But I don't want to hear no 2-peat, 3-peat, none of that type of stuff.
Oh, you know that's coming,
right?
You know that's coming.
That's gonna be annoying. So it's gonna get to a point where it's gonna get annoying and obnoxious. So I'm like, it's cool for this one little run, but then just temper it. After y'all win a championship, which I know.
I can hear them now. Basketball home. It's at the Mecca. I can hear all that stuff coming. Best be ready.
But yeah, they deserve it. They deserve it for now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but so I had an interesting story in college football. Yesterday, which this college football. We'll talk about it more. I introduce the topic. So first off, so Brenden Sorsby is now eligible to play in the 2026 season. Brenden Sorsby is the Texas Tech quarterback by way of Cincinnati and Indiana University. So a judge put in a temporary injunction to allow Sorsby to play despite being ineligible by the NCAA for wagering on college sports. So, and that's also including he betted on when he was at the University of Indiana back in 2022, where he made literally 40 bets on the team at the time. And I think in May, like late May, he went to like a rehab because obviously deciding that he has a gambling problem. He has spent over $90,000 on bets, including pro sports and also college football, as we talked about it, alluded to earlier, as far as betting on his team at the time when he played for Indiana back in 2022. So basically, he's pretty much been that $90,000 he essentially has been betting on that total for the last 4 years. It's getting a little murky. So go around the horn, fellas. Ask what your thoughts on Brenden Sorsby being eligible to play despite the NCAA making him ineligible to because of betting. What are your thoughts?
Honestly, it's a bad look. You got professional athletes, coaches, and stuff being pulled into into federal investigations. You got as as I can off the top of my head, you got one former NBA player that's currently in prison for gambling. But you gonna this let this guy Brenden Sorsby pretty much let him off with a slap on the wrist. I, I see where he's likely going to be suspended the first 2 games of the season, and also saw that other teams in the conference was like pretty much banning the Gallo, willing not to play against Texas Tech. Is that true?
Yeah, mm-hmm. I know, notably like Nebraska.
Okay. I mean, like I said, it honestly is not a good look because you frown upon professional athletes making bets, and especially making bets on the team that they playing for. So when fans and other people and spectators watch, they expect everything to be on the up and up. But when you hear stories like this, then you tend to wonder, like, is it on the up and up? And then with sports betting being so popular now and legal, you got those people that's making those bets thinking like, okay, maybe did he mess up my parlay on purpose? Did he purposefully take the under on himself when I bet the over? Like it's kind of like murky waters that this is trending towards. I, I don't like it. I know other fans, media, people don't like it. It's just a bad look. It's really a bad look, and I honestly was shocked to hear that the judge would even rule in his favor. Like I said, like when we clearly seen stories and heard stories of players, former players, being banned for life from the professional league that they were in. I can off the top of my head, Pete Rose. He was banned for life from the MLB. He one of the greatest baseball players of our I'll say of our generation. Surefire Hall of Famer isn't in the Hall of Fame because of gambling on his team. But fast forward 30, 40 years later, we see a college quarterback who gets paid making bets and making a total over $90,000 worth of bets on his teams and other teams and in games that he played in. Like it's hard for me to wrap my head around like where does this make sense at? Like how do we get to this? Is it like where's the integrity? Where's the morality in this? Because now you got people that's it's going to get to the point now whenever Sorsby does end up back on the field, and I heard someone say, "What if he throws a pick six, and it affects the line, are we not to suspect that he did it on purpose to
Right.
so like I say, it just to me, like I said, to me it doesn't make sense. It's not right, and you punish players and people in the past for doing the exact same thing that he's doing now. Although sports gambling is now legal, it still doesn't give him the right to be able to bet on himself and on his team and on other college teams and then get caught, admit to it, and gets a slap on the wrist, 2-game suspension, and then is allowed to play. And it's going to hurt his draft stock. He more than likely will not get drafted because that is a bad look. NFL GMs and owners and stuff look at things like that. They look at your character. So like you did all that for what?
Yeah. Crazy. Yeah. All right. What your thoughts, man? What you got?
So listening to X, I was sitting here like he's 22 years old. He already played for 2 other teams. Why ain't he in the league? And I guess this is exactly why he still can somewhat play in college, because it looked like to me from what they were saying, I was watching that he he really a pro. Like he really should be in the NFL. So I guess because of this situation, his stock would be bad. But man, we all know, like, I don't know, like I don't gamble. I don't do sports gambling, but I do know it's starting to be a part of the culture, especially, this new culture. I want to say, I guess 18 and up, like it's everywhere. It's literally everywhere. You know what I'm saying? No, honestly, coach, like I've seen the rise in where we're at right now when it come to, gambling since we went on the road. It seemed like since we came back, it's every year it's getting bigger and bigger. And then like the sports gambling it's like a way of life almost. Remember when it was more like um fantasy? Like it seemed like everybody who kind of like was into fantasy has gotten more into sports betting, and it's expanded. They're sponsoring things different. So I don't know. I think you still have to have some type of integrity when it comes to sport. Yes, I do think that these that the college kids should get paid. And the weird thing about it is, I think they should still, gambling because it's part of the culture. Also now, it's part of the way people do. But I don't know if he should be playing gambling. I don't know if he should be doing it in his division or his whatever he's playing in, like the Big 12. I don't think he should be able to do it there, and I don't think he should be able to do definitely not his team. Even any sport it just seemed like it's so wide open, and they need to narrow some stuff down so it can be more respected. It just seemed like everything is wide open. And this young man's from Texas, so when he got in trouble for that, what team was he on?
Texas Tech.
He was on
Well, I
Texas
mean,
Tech. What had happened?
well, they did the investigation in May, and
Uh-huh.
that's how they did the findings of him, and that's why he kind of went to rehab
Uh-huh.
because of that. And then I want to say like right around Labor Day, they ain't even been like, I mean, maybe more day, but like maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago, he was ineligible by the
Right.
NCAA for his final
Right.
to play for his final season. So
Uh-huh. And so
yeah,
so he already played with Texas Tech, or this would
no,
be his first year?
his first year.
So a lot of stuff I watched today, because it was like a big rabbit hole, man. They was getting to the point where, because he's from Texas, and it was just a lot of this person may know this person and this person may know that person. It was a lot of that. It was a lot of, and it just got real scary. You know what I mean? Because sometimes people don't want to see the truth. You know what I mean? But more what I'm saying is, I think they need to figure out a way to control it so people won't get them in trouble. It is part of the culture, but I still think it needs some integrity in the game.
almost to a point. I told you so. We talked about so many people that have gambled, not on their sport, but like when we said if you ever caught betting on your team, a la like a Javante Porter, you're banned for life. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like you don't that's a open shut case because we in the spirit of it all, you want to protect the integrity of the sport. You already have people that already say that the game is rigged, and you're proving their case day in day out. When you got these guys who are doing this stuff, and you're just giving them a slap on the wrist, this is going to happen. And this is yet again why, why this had to happen. And you know why this happened because Texas Tech, this case was in Lubbock, so obviously that's the home of Texas Tech. Who was the judges? The judges are Texas Tech alumni. And Texas Tech is going to spend, and the reason why they're probably doing this because they coughed up all that money to get him.
Right.
So, of course, they're going to find a way to get him to play because I already spent this amount of money for him to even come here, as far as that's concerned. So the fact that even that the court can supersede the NCAA, it's crazy to me. And I get it because, it is what it is, but it just shows you the power. And you seeing how, I don't know if another thing I think that's why a lot of teams probably want to kind of get away from the NCAA. So not necessarily because of a situation like this, where it's like, hey, I could, get some stuff, shovel some stuff, if something goes wrong, I can file like an injunction, then let this person play this, that, and the third. And like you said, all this doing is just messing up the integrity of the game. And like as far as like you said, if I can do unders, like say for instance, and I can get people to cash in and whatever, and to help myself. So it's gonna hurt the integrity. It's already bad enough what's going on with college football, and now because especially like this transfer portal, it's everything. Like college football is starting to become the wild, wild west. Like everything that we know and love about college football, it's just getting crazy. Now, they're talking about having a 16-team playoff or 24-team playoff, and you got a national championship the last Monday in January next year. All kind of craziness. So it's like the game that we knew and loved when we were, coming up, it's just getting crazy. And the funny thing about it is just crazy to think this man betted on he had bets against he had bets for his team. There was a point where if you gave a kid a ride in the rain, it's a violation. If you bought a kid a cheeseburger, you're in violation.
Yeah.
Like, how did we get from this? How have we got to a point where the NCAA used to be the boogeyman? Like, it's to a point where it's like, and now it's just like they just let they ain't let anything go. It's just the courts are allowing superseding the NCAA because the NCAA is coming down with the hammer. But just the simple fact of, now you have a situation where this guy's allowed to play. And that's to me, it's just so crazy. And it's gonna have to come out, like you said, like we talked about earlier, it's gonna have to come down to the Big 12 where they're gonna have to say, hey, what what Nebraska's trying to do, because they're trying to do a boycott of every team. So they're telling all their coaches, hey, don't schedule Texas Tech on your schedule for any sport, basketball, all that. Because it's going to have to come to that where they're going to have to hit in their wallet because, of course, they're going to protect their asset in Sorsby. They've already, so, of course, they're going to find ways so he can pay. But I think, if they do the boycott like they should, and they're really going to lose money. And it's going to get to a point where them losing all that money from the game, from those scheduled games is going to probably supersede what they're paying Hornsby and all this litigation that they got for him in his favor.
Right.
It's going to have to be that way.
So where's the deterrence at to stop the next Brenden Sorsby from doing the same thing.
Exactly, and it's got to stop here, and it's got to stop here because, like you said, it is probably is always out there. We just don't know him. We don't. He ain't been investigated yet.
Honestly, I just feel like this decision is gonna create headaches and problems for commissioners in each of these conferences, like all around college football, not just football but basketball too. It's we're heading in. I'm gonna say uncharted waters, but it's really not, because it's been going on. It's just now it's being brought to the light, and it's going to get to the point where it's already gotten to the point where fans and people question, like you said, the integrity of the game in every sport. So like I said, this is just, like I said, it's a bad look. It's another black eye to the NCAA. It's like they can't get out of their own way. It's always something that the NCAA does that just like I said, just can't seem to get out their own way.
Yeah, and this is more so it is the courts, because the courts, the NCAA, they did their part. They made him ineligible. It's the court system, so it's kind of one of the things where it's like,
okay.
It's like, how can because it's almost like how can the court is superseding what they're doing because they made him ineligible. But
can they take it to the Supreme Court?
They did say that they can file a motion, but something I forgot what, because I think Jay Billy said that they could do some type of hearing or whatever, but a lot of people saying that won't be until after the season, unless they can get it expedited.
No, I was just asking because I remember when Brady in the NFL had the Deflategate.
Yeah.
He won his appeal. He was able to play those games, but then the next season they ended up going to the Supreme Court, and he lost, and he was suspended the first 4 games of the season.
Yeah.
So do you think we can see? Well, I mean, really, it's not going to matter, because if that does happen, he's done at that. Isn't this his last collegiate?
Last year as eligibility. Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, so it really don't matter. Okay, I get it.
So I do hope that they could get something expedited before the season starts, because this is just a bad look, and it's just one of the things where it just really makes Texas Tech look bad, like to a point where you're willing to do all this, and I get it from their standpoint because they spent so much money to get him. So it's like, hey, we're gonna try to make sure that we're gonna keep him in the fold. And I get why they did the injunction, because it's like everything. Because obviously, considering the fact that this team made the college football playoff last year, and you bring in somebody like him, they want to kind of ensure that they kind of have a repeat success. So but yet again, it's just one of those things where it's just like it's just stupid. It's just getting to a point where it's something that the NCAA has to do as far as not being able to block those type of court things, but more so just the simple fact of, hey, these cases need to go to it,
No, I ain't mean to interrupt. I was just gonna ask, so you feel like this should be more of like an in-house?
No, I don't even think that the court should be involved. That's my thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about
because
I would say like the NCAA create like a trying to think what
a commission.
Yeah, a commission to handle stuff like this.
I mean, they can, But
And
the
you
only thing is the courts. That's the problem. Is like my issue is how the court can kind of intervene in their proceedings. And I get it. Like I get Texas Tech why they did what they did because they're allowed to do that. But it's almost like where the pushback is like and I'm telling you, that's why I'm not necessarily thinking that this could happen. But I don't know that a lot of people talk about how certain teams and certain conferences want to break out the NCAA. Because this is something when you really sit down and think about it. Because if you're like, hey, if I break from them, I can have like certain courts in my favor. And then my thing is like, how can they have a court case and all the judges who voted for this are Texas Tech alumni? Like that should be something that should raise everybody antennas up. Like, and you have a court case in Lubbock, Texas, the home of them. Like that's the biggest thing in Lubbock is Texas Tech.
Right.
So of course they're going to rule in their favor. Like that just makes zero sense.
We live in Virginia. One thing I learned here was you get the lawyers and the judges and everybody either grew up together or know each other and blah blah blah. He from Denton, Texas. I don't know how close it is, all this and that, but that's why I asked, when did all this happen? You know what I mean? Did this happen before he got to Texas Tech, or it happened after the Texas Tech?
So I mean, the bets happened 4 years ago in Indiana, but the investigation just came about in May.
This May that passed.
Yes.
Okay.
The investigation, because he was doing his thing at Indiana and Cincinnati. So then,
so he didn't bet when he was at Texas Tech.
Well, he never been to Texas Tech.
So you understand you get what I'm going, though, X.
Yeah. They signed him. They signed him this year.
Yeah,
but he's at Cincinnati.
But how has his case been heard in Texas when the offenses took place in Ohio and Indiana? Why? To me, that don't make sense.
Okay. Why it makes sense is because, so he got investigated. He got investigated. The NCAA deemed him ineligible. So Texas Tech, because remember, they signed him. So of course they're going to find a way to get him to play, because that's why they did the court case in Lubbock, Texas, to file this injunction to allow him to play, because they're trying to cite as if like he had gone to rehab, he has changed, and if you don't let him play, almost make. All right, I'm just gonna say this out like this, but don't take it out of context. They pretty much paint a picture to say, hey, Brenden is essentially, if you take football away from him, it's almost like you're doing irreparable damage. He did the work. He went to rehab. We know he's a gambler. I mean, this is what that's kind of how, in essence, they kind of play this out. Hey, he's gone to rehab. In other words, kind of he did his time. That's why they filed this injunction, a temporary injunction to allow him to play. And hence, the judges who voted on this are Texas Tech alumni. That's why they did that, because they felt as though like, hey, if I'm putting all like they protect their investment.
Yeah, I understand. See, I was under the belief that he also bet at Texas Tech. I didn't realize this was his first. See, I thought
he hasn't even played it down at Texas Tech yet.
Okay.
And they in the Big 12 because Oklahoma and Texas are gone. They're not in the Big 12 anymore, right?
Oklahoma and Texas in the SEC, and they in the Big 12.
So Texas Tech has a chance to most likely win the Big 12.
Yeah, that's what I said. So, that was the reason the Sorsby to get the quarterback, because of the simple fact that they want to get back to the college football playoff. That was right. That's how I was saying earlier, where that's where they kind of come into play because they made a big investment in Sorsby. So that's why they did that. This is kind of almost like I put so much money in this person,
Yep.
I'm gonna make you play by
Yep.
any means necessary. Hence
Yep.
why they did this quote unquote rehab and doing all
Right.
type of stuff to kind of make sure that, in other words, he's a changed man.
Hey, coach, allegedly, do you think that they set this, that they knew something like this was going to happen, or is that why they signed him? Is what I'm saying, because they knew they most likely can get him eligible and they can get him to play. Do you think that? I mean, and I'm just saying,
No, I
they
think
did.
I think it's just a simple fact that just like he gives them a better chance to get back to the college football playoff, and because that's how really pretty much when we look at the transfer portal and all that type of stuff. It's a lot of movement from the quarterback position, so a lot of it it's just saying, hey, I think he gives us the best opportunity for us to get back to where we were last year, and hopefully we can score a touchdown in the college football playoff by virtue of him being there.
I'm with you. I just feel like by him going home, like going back to Texas, and you know what I mean, that he was like, like they say, without football, blah blah blah, and maybe we can, what I'm saying, like if I'm in going to school in Colorado, right, and I get myself in a predicament, and then it's schools that know my high school coach, that knows this person that know me, and I got family there that they could set up something like, look, you're from here, we know you, they don't really know you, you made a mistake, and they, you know what I'm saying, they make this is what we gonna do, we gonna get you this, and then we gonna set up to make sure that you gonna play. You know what I'm saying? Like we have people in line that will look at the case and a favor for a favor. Allegedly, I'm just saying, because I know when you go to court, a lot of times that's what happens. You know what I'm saying? Your lawyer, people that the judge, both of them. You know what I mean? That's why I'm saying. And some stuff I watched today, they kind of said that's kind of how it was, if that makes sense. Because, like you said, all of them are Texas Tech alumni.
Yeah, so basically, so he checked himself into rehab in April. So for sports
For real?
gambling addiction. Yeah. So that's when he checked himself into rehab was in April.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it just shows you kind of how dirty of a game it can be.
Yeah.
Yep.
But hey, man, it's gonna happen, man. It sound like to me though, he sound like I don't know, like he sound like he might have some problems with it though. It look better than somebody just gambling on sports.
But
90,000.
yeah,
It's a lot.
Right. And then I'm thinking to myself, when I say over 4 years, and then a part of me, I'm putting the math together because he's born in 2004. He should have been gambling at 18 years old because you got to be 21 to gamble.
Right.
Well, a certain state.
Plot thickens. It's wild,
So
man.
I don't like. This sounds illegal more so than anything.
It most likely is.
But yeah, it's just. I just hope I hope there's a way where he'll be ineligible. Hopefully, they can expedite the process. And I know they got some time. It's about 2 more months for the college football season, so I'm hoping that something can happen where the NCAA can kind of regain control, because this is yet again a case where you don't want the courts to be dibbling and dabbling this type of stuff.
Right.
So yeah.
It's wild.
But hopefully this will be to be continued, and yeah, because of course they're gonna they're gonna protect their asset, which I get, but it's just a dirty game.
Mm. Yep.
All right, so fellas, we'll talk about some really 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 sad news out of the world of the NBA, where Stacey King unfortunately passed away at the age of 59 on Sunday. Um, Three-time champion with the Chicago Bulls. He was the Big Eight Player of the Year back in 1989 when he played at Oklahoma. Um, he also had a great career as far as was the Chicago Bulls lead color commentator since
Mm.
2008, and unfortunately passed away on Saturday at the age of 59. Not Saturday, but on Sunday at the age of 59. X, what your
Mm.
thoughts on the passing of Stacey King?
Sad, tragic. Um, I don't really remember Stacey King like that because I guess during his time, the early '90s with the Bulls, I was what 4 or 5. Um, but just hearing and seeing some of the tributes from former teammates, coaches, and players that he was able to watch and play with and do color commentary with was special to see. You can tell he was loved by the Chicago community, by the Chicago Bulls community. Um, it's a major loss, especially for the NBA broadcasting world and the Chicago Bulls community. Um, his legacy spans over. You said the first 3 championships.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So his legacy spans over the first 3-peat with Chicago, and
Mhm.
then after his playing career, decades of calling memorable games for the Chicago Bulls. He was there to see hometown kid Derrick Rose become the youngest MVP for the Chicago Bulls. He was there to see a lot. Like I said, it's sad. It's just prayers and condolences to his family, friends, and loved ones. Uh, at a time like this, you just um, send a prayer up to God and like I said, keep his family, friends, and loved ones in your prayers, and just cherish the good memories.
Yep. What you got, Mel?
Same thing. Everything X said. Sending strength prayers to his family. Um, and Bulls fans too, and I'm sure everybody there that's a part of the organization. Um, and man, it's sad. He was 59. That's wild, man. Just to piggyback, what I remember about Stacey King, he had a mean jump shot when I used to play Bulls versus Lakers back in the day. You know what I mean? That was one of my secret weapons right there. But give me a good 6 points. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, it's always sad to see them. And he seemed like, man, I wish the NBA talk about players like that more because you didn't hear much from him. He played his role. You know what I mean? He also, like you said, he commentated. He had I think a podcast called Hot Sauce or something like that.
Yeah.
And I just wish they with the NBA network that they would take sometime those guys like that and that just seem like I've never heard anything negative about him. I've never heard he was a dirty player. You know what I'm saying? Like he was just I remember him to a point. It was always he played for the Bulls. I think I might even with my grandmother that passed last year watched um that was it 1988 championship game or 89? Was it 88 or
What?
87?
What? Yeah.
Um, because didn't he play for Oklahoma? Who did he play for? He
Oh,
played for Oklahoma.
yeah, Oklahoma.
Yeah, yeah. Like I think I vaguely remember watching the game with her, but that's what's weird, man. Because I just felt like he was one of those guys that they should have been talking to. He seemed like he had a great personality, even on the side when he called games. But yeah, sending love and respect, and to his family, friends, and the organization, and and all those good things.
Yeah. All right. Excellent. Okay. Okay. But yeah, hearing the news. Oh, I hear the echo again. All right.
Still hear
All
it?
right. I think we're good now. Oh no, I still
Okay.
hear it. Yeah, I still hear it. Yeah, I still hear it. All right. I hear some feedback now. But now, let's see. I think we're good. All right. I think we're good. I think so. Yeah, I think we're good. All right. Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's crazy. When I heard the news, just like everything, you want to just make sure that it's true and just the fact check and you get your source from. Really, 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 sad about it because obviously, just the fact of the memories obviously date back to the Bulls days. Then you think about the commentary side, and it's funny because the first person I really thought about was Johnny Red Kerr. And it's crazy because I remember when he left the airways, then when he passed, and then I'm like, well, you know um and you think to yourself like, man, you looked at Johnny Red Kerr was like, yeah, he was like the gold standard of broadcasting for the Chicago Bulls back in the day. Like I always looked at him, especially when I was young, as far as like the soundtrack of like Chicago Bulls basketball. But man, Stacey King has ultimately became that soundtrack of the Chicago Bulls. He filled in, he had big shoes to fill, and he filled them. Like the energy, the laughs, like he made kind of like other commentators. Like he made a Bulls game fun to listen to. The comic release, the energy, and all that. So the fact to kind of not have that no more is really really sad. And just the fact, the impact of it. I really felt it for Horace Grant. Because they interviewed Horace Grant, I think yesterday, or might have been. I think it had been Monday when they interviewed him. He could barely get through it because just the emotion of it, and like he talked about, like as far as like the brotherhood, and not just like a teammate, but it's like your brother. So you hear those across, just the echoes across the NBA world where you had those fitting tributes. I know like Jordan had also made a statement about it as well, and yeah, and he would definitely truly be missed. But the beauty thing about this whole situation, we have a lifetime, a long lifetime full of his content, and I want to share you guys one of his favorite calls. This is from March of last year, March of 2025. I know you guys are Lakers guys, but I definitely the Josh Giddey shot to beat the Lakers, and it was great. So I'm gonna share that for you guys.
Shot before that. Here's Reeves. Reeves straight to the cup. Lays it in to take the lead. Bulls are out of timeouts. 2 seconds left. Giddey for the win. Go!
Oh my God! I cannot believe this. Elizabeth, I'm coming, baby. Oh, Lord.
Improbable!
Unbelievable.
Impossible!
Magic Giddey. Good day, man. This is not the same team. You better embrace them. Get your tickets. Buy them. This is a special team. Oh, Lord. Elizabeth, watch Giddey. Half court. That's a shot for the ages. That will be replayed when we're all gone. What a shot to win a game from half court. Wow.
Casey Johnson is with Josh Giddey, the hero.
Right. This will be a call that we will forever listen to, even when he's gone as well. So Rest easy, big fella, man. Yeah, man. But
Yeah, that was great. R.I.P.
yeah,
homie.
yeah, man. Still shocking, but but yeah,
I remember that game.
but yep. But that just shows you kind of just the type of energy he brought game in, game out, and this even when the team was bad, good or bad indifference, he always brought that energy game in, game out. So yeah, we definitely sending out my prayers to the family and rest easy, Stacey King for sure. So we'll put a bow on tonight's show with our game ball and final thoughts. First, we'll go to our game ball. Who you guys got this week? I'm gonna go to you first. X, what you got?
I got Wemby for the game ball. Stepped up in game 3. He asserted his dominance from the jump, and it carried all the way through to the end of the game, to the final buzzer.
All right. What you got, Maui?
My game ball is it's not actually sports. It's my game ball is going to the Wayne family for their movie Scary Movie 6. Is budgeted for 30 million, and it actually broke the franchise record of 105 million over the weekend. Everybody know the controversy of the movie being actually taken from them. I think 3, 4, and 5, and for them to get a chance to get back and actually be number 1 for the weekend. Shout out to them.
Got to give it up to our local guy, Denny Hamlin, by way of Chesterfield, Virginia. Won at Michigan, got his 3rd win of the season. He has 63 Cup Series win. He's tied with, unfortunately, the late Cal Busch with 63 wins on in his career in the Cup Series. And yeah, but definitely huge shout out to our guy Denny Hamlin, and shout out to Joe Gibbs Racing in them. Shout out to Coach Gibbs as well. All right, so we'll wrap up tonight's show. Final thoughts before you head out, social media, and also anything that you got going on, promote whatever you got going on. Go to you first, X. What you got?
Great show as always. Always good to be on here with you fellas. Upcoming, just waiting to hear back from the UFL championship game. Put in for the credentials for that game. Just waiting to hear back. Twitter/X is X_J_SR. Instagram is GameOnMedia_X. That's all I got.
What you got, Mal?
And great show as as always. Deshaun Morgan, Facebook, DT Morgan 78, Instagram.
All right. Pretty much check out the podcast anywhere you get your podcast: Apple, Spotify, iHeart, Couch Coach Live, the website couchcoachlive.com. Nothing going on at the current moment. Just taking a little sabbatical and just get it all ready for the fall.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so this wraps up this week's Couch Coach Live, man. We'll catch you guys next week. And we're out.
You're welcome.
Peace.